Hi everybody, this is Gayle. Welcome to my channel tonight, to my live stream. Woo! Good to see you all. I'm sorry for the slight delay there. I managed to misplace my glasses. Can you believe it? Let's see, we've already got a couple of people in here, and I appreciate you sticking it out with me. That would be Big Tom's Van is here. So hi, Big Tom's Van. We have Women's Station Channel, as well as Candy the Wee Service Dog and Valerie Reese. So hi, you all. How is life? I hope it's going well. I know that tonight we've got a couple of things to talk about. Van update, why I'm still here, and what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the baby. Yeah, don't worry. I didn't forget her. I was kidding you all. So, let me get in here, and thank you all for hanging out with me last night. I had been having so many questions about the little washing machine, not like the larger cup that are the best choice, but the little bitty mini one. So I thought I would just go online and answer a couple of those questions. I've heard from people who said that was helpful. So what I'm doing is I'm taking clips out of that video. Give me a couple of days to get it edited, and then I'll have it re-uploaded as its own little thing, so you won't have to listen to some of the chit chat and stuff. But I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all hanging out. I appreciate your interest in the washer. Just to reiterate from last night, I think that the machine washes great. I continue to be impressed with the washing. Yeah, no problems there. I really like it. I actually would compare that washing machine to the one in my house in the quality of the washing itself. Where it's kind of letting me down is the spinner basket, because it's really hard to get locked into place, because you can only lock it so far, and then it relies on centrifugal force to do the rest of it. So that, and if you get it off balance at all, it just really gets a little screwy. So it's kind of letting me down a little bit there. I still think I'm going to use it for my purposes in the van. But if I was a full-time van lifer, I probably would not be really happy with it, and would go with something with a little more spinning power, just because this will do okay for like t-shirts, shorts, underwear, but it's not going to do like pants, jeans, things like that. So your heavier things you really just can't do in it. But anyway, we can talk more about that in the comment section of the other video I'm going to leave up. So let's see what all we got here. And sorry if I'm a little bit out of breath. That just kind of goes with the good old-fashioned gunk in the air. It's triggering asthma. So let me get this other screen up here so I can see you all better. Okay, so much better to see you all with on the second screen. Let's see, I have got Stellar Piper in here. I see she has joined us. So hello, Stellar Piper. Good to see you, hun. And Tanya Lambert is also in the house. So hi to everyone. Good to see you all. We've got a full house tonight, just about, it looks like. Chef Warrell Young sneaked in. So hi, Chef. Lots and lots of good things here. Good people, good things to talk about. Yeah, Tanya's saying the washing machine is like an overgrown salad spinner. That might be pretty accurate. I could go with that. Stellar Piper's going to be quiet because she's playing Dungeons and Dragons. Ooh, have fun with that. And Tanya's reminding everybody to hit the like button. Please hit the like button. That helps me so much. I know all the YouTubers say that, but it's hard to overstate how much hitting a like button matters to the algorithm. Our common enemy is the algorithm. Let's just say that. So anyhow, let's see what else you got. Somebody is not feeling well, so let me take a peek at that, because I don't want that to happen. Tanya's not staying on. She's not feeling well. I'm sorry, Tanya. I hope you get to feeling better. It's been superbly hot where she is. I imagine, Chef, it's superbly hot where you are. Some of the temperatures have been insane. Candy says allergies are slowly getting better here since the air quality is improving. Good. I'm glad to know it's improving somewhere. The heat is taking its toll on a lot of people with their lungs. So I'm glad you're doing okay. It's just kind of crazy. We're not so bad right here in Southwest Virginia. Our temperatures are pretty stable right now. But I was looking at it for going out to New Mexico, and wow, the temperatures this week are just triple digits the whole week for the places that I would be. The reason I'm still here and have not left to go see my daughter and son-in-law and grandbaby is because I have some medical things coming up. So I'm going to be doing some lab work this week, and some of the lab work, I have to spend 3 days in town to get some of this lab work done. But anyway, got to get it done, and then Monday, a week from day after tomorrow, I get to go and talk to the doctor to have her say that all of my labs probably came back normal. So, we'll see how that works. And then the plan is on the 2nd to drive out in my newly reconfigured van. That's the plan. So hopefully it will go well, because I planned to be there last week, and so I'm here. So, okay, Chef Harrell says he's in Texas right now. It's not too different from Vegas. Tanya's saying her left lung is still struggling. Doctor doesn't know if it's permanent or not. We're going to hope with not. Yeah, Women's Station Channel, Lori's saying, oh, sweetie, I know the muscle damage with disease. Pushed myself this morning walking. Hope you feel better, Tanya. And, Valerie says her sister is going from hot to hotter. She lives in Texas, and she's going to Vegas. Whew. Wow. I'll never forget the year we went to Vegas over a July 4th weekend during a heat wave. Not ever doing that one again. No. So, okay. Yeah. Tanya's lung damage, by the way, I don't know if y'all saw the comment. It's from COVID. It's a long COVID thing. So do your best not to get COVID. Tanya says she has a package for the baby but can't find the packing tape. We are friends for a reason. Just saying. You'll find it, though. Don't worry. Don't panic. Don't stress. You'll get it. What on earth? Oh, okay. Notifications. I heard from Gloria. I know it's not her. She said her husband's poker game continues on Saturday nights. So we'll let her have a pass so she can spend the evening with her husband on Saturday. So, all right. And Tanya's saying, yes, don't get COVID. I'm going to stress that. Okay. So baby update or van update? Let's do the van next. All right.
Here, can you?
If I can share this screen.
Yeah, you will.
Wait a minute. I thought I knew a way to share this screen. Can I not do that? Hold on. I am on YouTube side of things, and I might not be able to share. Pop out chat. That's nice. I thought I had a way to share screens on YouTube Studio, but now I don't see it. Okay, I guess I cannot share, which I am very sorry for. That's a bummer, because I was going to show you the changes in the van. So if anybody is used to doing YouTube studio stuff, let me know, because I don't see what I need. Okay, sorry about that. So I can't show you the videos. What I'll do is I'll just upload those as a shorts in a little while after the live stream. But van progress is it for you all who remember last time when last we met, my husband was busily cutting out the air conditioner. I think that was 2 weeks ago. And then last week we were doing some more work as far as the insulation and the ceiling of the van. We were adding more to one end of it. But now Big Tom's van brought up I don't know if you want to call it an issue or a comment, but some other YouTubers had talked about the reflectix that they had put in their van. And with the reflectix, basically you need an air gap. So the question was, did we have an air gap or not? So after the live stream, I went back and we talked to my husband and we took a little bit more of the ceiling down just to make sure, because we thought we'd left the air gap in there, and we actually had. Because my husband actually read the label on this once, and so we had a layer of reflectix, and then we had some more little pieces of styrofoam, and then we had another layer of reflectix just laid on top of the piece of paneling. So basically we got lucky. So we did, if you are looking at putting reflectix up in your van, read the instructions very carefully, look at some videos, make sure you're doing it right, because reflectix is not like insulation like you think of having in your walls at home. It's bubble wrap with a layer of mylar, basically, and it does what it says, it reflects. So it keeps the sun from coming into the windows of the van or the shell of the van. When the heat comes in, then it tries to bounce it right back out. But in order for it to have some insulation properties, you do have to have that layer in it. So Big Tom's van, huge shout out to you, huge thank you to you for mentioning that about the reflectix. So we were okay on that for the ceiling. Now, I used the reflectix to make the window coverings for the van. And on those, it's just a single layer of reflectix with 2 pieces of cloth, one front, one back. So on that, there's no air pockets there, but it still repels the heat from the windows. And those are the windows, not the ceiling of the van, where we just basically got lucky. So huge shout out to Big Tom's van for mentioning that. And Tanya says, baby. Okay. Well, I will get to the baby in just one more second. Also on the van, with the paneling up, the ceilings up, the ceilings double checked, the walls up, the air conditioner is in. So our next thing is to put the carpeting down, which we've already got it cut, template made, carpeting cut, literally gonna lay it down. We just have to sweep it out first and mop it real good, make sure I have every little metal shaving and everything up. Then we just got to slide the bed in and put the bath cabinet in. We actually have to wait until I get back from New Mexico before I can put in the other cabinet that I had planned, and that's because of taking things to my daughter. I need that space to put a cabinet in for her, because I have this huge armoire from like 1930s or late 1920s, and I have a changing table, chest of drawers. So that's going to take up space. So, but 2 more things, and for right now, it's done. The solar is up, working, functioning. So yeah. So let's see who else we got. Okay, Tanya is saying that her sister lives in Texas but is traveling to Vegas. Tanya said about the tape. Oh, Valerie says that she and Steve went to Vegas in November one year, and it was extremely hot, even in November. And so we're talking about COVID. Don't get it. Tanya's got to go take a nap. So Archer sends love and sniffs to Pacer. Thank you. Pipsy loves having that. So yeah, he's in there laying down, taking a nap in his kennel. He's not been listening too well today, so he is taking a time out during the live stream. So yeah, they might be related. I don't know. So it's pretty cool though. They look so much alike. So, okay. So speaking of COVID, my granddaughter, pray for her. She was dealing with a lung collapse, and they've had to change her oxygen, bump it up. They've had to stop the feedings, and she's doing better. Her oxygen is still, they've been able, that was a couple of days ago, they've been able to drop her oxygen some, but it's still higher than what it was before the lung collapse. But it was a partial collapse, thank God, instead of a full collapse. So they were able to treat her with high flow oxygen and basically kind of reinflate it with the pressure of the oxygen. And so she's doing a lot better. But they had to pause the feedings and just started those right back up. And now she's having problems with the whole, I've got to feed, oh wait, I've also got to breathe. So they're trying to get that coordinated. They had a problem with a COVID scare. My daughter and son-in-law were exposed to 2 people who wound up having active COVID. That is the last thing that they need. The baby especially absolutely does not need COVID. So right now what's happening is they are getting toward the end of the average quarantine window. The baby was in isolation the minute they had to tell the hospital that they had been exposed to COVID. They were not able to see the baby for a couple of days because they've been having to really watch. So now they're at near the tail end of the incubation period. Part of the thing about preemies is it's really important for the preemie to be with their parents because it helps stimulate their body, it helps stimulate them, plus the mother's breast milk is better because it helps stimulate the immune system. So they wanted the baby and mom and daddy to be able to see her as much as possible. So they're at the end of their quarantine period, and my daughter and son-in-law are now able, like today and yesterday, to see the baby. And they're taking daily COVID tests. They're also doing a temperature scan. All this is at the hospital, and the temperature scan. And they can't wear the surgical mask anymore. They have to wear the N95. They have to wash up, sanitize. They've been doing that, but now they're having to do that, like extra there while they're in the NICU. And so there's tons of other precautions that they're having to take. Prayerfully, they won't have it. They weren't in super close proximity to the 2 people that have COVID, but still it's concerning. So, pray that the baby is going to continue to do well, and pray that she does not get COVID, and pray that mom and dad don't get COVID. So she's doing better, still not out of the woods. And even when she gets out of the woods from the collapsed lung, she's still a preemie. So she's still going to need some prayers to keep her over the hurdles. But, every day is a different day. Every day is a new opportunity for her to grow and get stronger. So that's what we're hoping and praying for. And, the doctors had been saying that she could go home probably around her due date. And that would be around the 6th of August. That is off the table. They're not talking about that anymore. We kind of hoped that maybe they would change their mind, but then this thing came up with a collapsed lung. So there are certain parameters that they want her to meet before they'll send her home. So in her case, they want her feeding well, no oxygen, and she continues to have these spells of low heart rate. It's called bradycardia, where her heart rate will just drop, and she can't have any more of those. So she's still got to meet those, and she's not quite there yet. But one day at a time. And, you know, with her being in hospital, it's not all bad because if she does do something weird again, you know, they're right there to take care of it. So I keep telling my daughter that they're not going to send her home before she's ready, even though she thinks her baby's ready to come home now, you know. So it's just a lot to think about, a lot to look at, a lot going on there. I know a couple of you guys have sent things in for them, which I deeply appreciate. I just haven't been able to be there yet. The reason is because I had these medical things come up that they have to check out or feel like they have to check out. I mean, y'all know how it goes. You get one little weird thing showing up on a test, and the doctors are like, my student loans are due. Let's test, and keep bringing her in here. Or, it's not really that way, but that's the way it feels like sometimes. I know a lot of y'all have been there too. So I am planning on leaving Tuesday of not this week, but next week. I'll be at my doctor's office on the 1st and pulling out hopefully first thing early Tuesday morning. That's the plan anyway. So hopefully nothing else will come up to change the plan. To really, I don't want to say good, but the better thing out of the situation of me not being out there, which has been really hard for me because I wanted to be out there. Had I been when we had planned for me to go originally, I would have gotten there just in time to be exposed to COVID too. And I do not need that. I have long COVID, still dealing with some of the symptoms. That's some of the tests that are coming up next week are about things surrounding that. So the last thing I needed either was to be exposed to it. So I might get exposed at the grocery store or something, but that's a little different than having two people standing in your living room where you are. And masking up again so I can try to stay well. To see my daughter and son-in-law, can't see the baby when I get out there because of their rules. You know, we could just put one other person other than mom and dad on the list of people who could see her. And, you know, we talked about it. And I told the mother-in-law, I'm like, you know, you're moving out here. You're going to be here. There's no point in me putting my name down just because I'll have to go and come back and go and come back. So I can't see her. I can see my daughter and son-in-law and help them out. So that's the plan, to get out there now as quickly as possible in the redesigned van. We are going to hopefully do a little trial run on that this week just to make sure I like the layout. If I don't like the layout, it's pretty much going to be too bad. But anyway, we're going to test it for sure first. So let me go back here. Candy says, Archer, take care of Mama. Talking to Tanya about her service dog, Archer. And wondered if they're related. Oh, Big Tom's fan stepped back in. Hey. Candy says, glad to hear Brianna's doing better. Thank you. Thank you. Just, it's been a really tough thing. And this whole week has been insane in lots of ways. I'm not out there, but I still provide or try to provide emotional support to them anyway. So, yeah, Candy, I do. Praise God I wasn't there. Yeah. But yeah, and then on the other hand, I feel bad about saying that because I'm going out there to help. But if I go out there and I have a relapse on COVID, I'm not going to be any help to anybody. And Big Tom's fan says, sure does feel that way. Yeah. Oh, Justin Melo's Music and Blogs is here. Hi, Justin. Welcome. Yeah, I agree, Tom. It does feel that way. It's just, let me see here what's going on. Oh, okay. Hit the wrong thing. Okay. So, yeah. But we have to all take one day at a time is the thing, and life throws curveballs at us. And like, I was super frustrated about not getting to go out there like I had planned, and then this COVID scare happened, and as frustrated as I am about not being out there, and as frustrated as I am about having to have all of these medical tests may have basically saved my hide, because y'all know I almost died from COVID. And the last thing I need is to go out there and try to help my daughter and son-in-law and get COVID and drag them down. They don't need that. So, yeah. So anyhow, that's why I'm still here. That's the van update. Travel tips. Oh, yeah. Okay, y'all. Gloria has been fussing at me that I have not been doing travel tips like I had promised her I would do. We kind of got off track on that. So I am pulling up my Google Drive document and I am opening her up. So that way, Gloria, when you hit the replay, you get the travel tips, okay? All right. I forgot where I was on my list. So, hey, give me just a second. I want to check chat first. Big Thomas Van says, hi, Justin. And everybody's saying hi. Good, good, good. And Candy is saying, you know, right, you have to take care of you to help your daughter and granddaughter. You know, that's true, but it just feels frustrating. And, you know, to feel kind of like your doctors are like, oh, there's one thing wrong. Let's do 25 tests. You know, it's a little frustrating. Where is your camper, Gayle? My camper is in the backyard next to my van. And so we have both. And here's the thing. The travel trailer is great. It's comfortable. It's got almost a full-size bathroom in it, so we can shower, toilet, take care of hygiene needs with no problem. And it's got the kitchen area. It's real nice. I like it. Don't get me wrong. But I like my van better. You know, when you're pulling a travel trailer, then you've got your vehicle and the travel trailer, and it's difficult to tow. I shouldn't say it's difficult to tow. It's awkward to tow. It actually tows pretty easily, but it's awkward to tow. Then you have to go and you have to make sure it's super level. You have to make sure everything's set up right. I can't use solar with it because I would have to like fill the inside of the trailer with a massive battery bank to be able to run even the slightest bit of air conditioning because of the system that it's got. So I can't use it on solar. So in order to use it, I either have to boondock or dry dock, depending on what you want to call it, which means I got to pick cooler weather, which is not going to happen this time of year, just not. Or I have to have a campground. Now, Love's Travel Stops, oh my gosh, they are putting in campgrounds, essentially. They're RV spots. You pay for them just like you would at a campsite, reserve them in advance. You know, you still have water, electric, and sewer, so you can dump your tanks. I'm really liking that. But they're not everywhere yet, but that's always an option in the areas where you have that capability. With a travel trailer, you really need that. And the travel trailer is much more comfortable for myself and my husband and the dog because there's more space. The van, this is my baby. You know, the van, I love the van. It is great for me and a dog. It is, it's easy to park. It's easy to maneuver. You don't have to worry so much about, is it level? Is it not? You don't have the special stands you have to deal with. You don't have the chalks you have to deal with. You pretty much go in, get a level spot that's level enough where you can sleep, and go to sleep. Once we get the shower added in, I'll be able to shower and stuff instead of going inside a truck stop or wherever and buying a shower. But it's just more mobile. It's more free. It's easier to maneuver. I can put solar in it. I've got solar. We are going to be continuing. Solar's a work in progress, okay? So we're going to continue to add that. We just added the new air conditioner, which is more energy efficient than the other one. And we added the second battery. So I have two 100 amp hour batteries. That's going to give me enough juice to run the air conditioner around 2 hours-ish. And that's enough with the extra insulation that I have in the van to cool it off for a night, as long as the temperatures aren't totally triple digits. Now, I don't know how it's going to be going out to New Mexico. I may have to hunt some campgrounds, which, that's not bad. And it's easier to hunt a campground when you're in a van because you can fit into a small space. Or if a large space is the only thing that's available, you can take a large space. If you're pulling a trailer, you don't really have those options. So that's another reason why I like the van. But a van with me and the dog, we pretty much fill it up. It's really difficult to add that, I don't want to say third person, but when you've got a large dog, it really winds up being essentially a third person. So, and the other thing is the gas. I get better gas mileage with the van than I do when we have his Jeep and pull a travel trailer. So that's my big comparison. We've still got the travel trailer. It's just that I like my van better when it's just me. So anyhow, I just heard John come in and it just like shut my brain off. So anyhow, yeah, we're still set up with the trailer, still set up with the van. The van is why I bought the little tiny washing machine. We have the Cuppet that we're using in the trailer. And then I think the best choice, which is the first one that I got, best choice is the brand name, not necessarily that it is the best choice for a spinner washer. I think we're going to give that to my daughter so she can do her laundry in her house instead of going over to the outbuilding where the washing machine is and then having to take the baby back and forth and stuff. So I think it'll help them out to have one of those portable spin washers, dryers, spinners. So yeah. So that's probably way more than what you wanted to know when you asked about the trailer. But I just kind of wanted to elaborate on why we have both. Because like some of the people that we know are like, if you have a trailer, why do you still want the van? And I'm like, because the van is wonderful. And that's when they look at me like I'm crazy. But anyhow, it's not too far of a drive to get to Crazy Hood from here. Okay. Travel tips. Okay. Now, let me know what you think about these tips. Toss your comments in. I've got 3 for you. One, bring more supplies than you think you need. If you think you are going to be someplace for a week and you have medicines, diapers, any kind of special needs, if you have a dog, service dog, bring pet food, but don't bring it for a week. Bring it for 10 days, bring it for 2 weeks. Don't just plan on the week. Sometimes you'll be fine. Nothing will happen and you'll do great and you'll be gone and back home in a week. But if something happens on the road, let's say you have a vehicle breakdown or there's a storm and you can't get where you want to be. Or like somebody else that I know, they had an earthquake in Alaska. This is going back a couple of years. Don't panic. It's not right now. But there was an earthquake in Alaska, and the area around them was damaged. So it didn't look like they could get home. In fact, they couldn't for several days. They were here on vacation in the lower 48. She was a heart patient. Had she only brought enough for that week that she was going to be in the lower 48, she would have had some problems. But because she brought extra, we had talked, and because she brought extra, she was okay. Worried about her house, but she wasn't having to worry about, the extra medications and where to go. And some of hers was specialty. And always, always, always take more supplies than you think you're going to need. Let's see. Laurel says, have you changed the color of your hair? No, it's the same color it always is. It's the lighting if it looks different. So I did change the color of Pipsy's tail, though. It is now purple on the end, the very tip of his tail, but not my hair. So, yeah, I've thought about it, though. Thought about dyeing it the same color as his tail, actually. But then John thought that was a little too weird. Okay, now Valerie is saying that she had a flight cancel in Texas and had to stay overnight and try to get another flight home the next day. Flight delays are happening. That's another good reason. Like, if you're flying, do that. And you always want to make sure you have your meds on you if you're flying. That's super important, because if you get separated from your baggage and you only have 1 or 2 days of your medications with you, that can be a problem. And it is a real downer on a trip to find out you're in the middle of the trip and you have to get medication. Now, that has happened to me a couple of times, not because I wanted it to, but because my insurance will not fill medications more than 3 or 4 days before that prescription is supposed to be completed. So, yeah, I'd had to be in Anchorage or New Mexico or Kansas trying to find the nearest Walgreens. And so my other tip that kind of goes with bringing more than you think you'll need is to get your meds at a national pharmacy, if nothing else, just for that trip. So if anything comes up and you do need a refill, or there is a question, you can get it refilled. So, Laurel says it just looks a little darker. No, I don't know why. There's no coloring. It's still kind of light in spots. But thank you. Okay, Valerie says her toothbrush was in her checked bag, but everything else she needed was with us. Good deal. With a station channel, Lori's saying that she always travels with a carry-on because of that. Yeah, it's smart, to have everything with you. So that way you don't have to worry. So those two things, bring more supplies than you think you'll need, and try to utilize a national pharmacy if you can. And that's something I looked into, the Amazon pharmacy, and I like their prices on some of their meds, but the thought that I might not get my medicines on time before I leave on a big trip, that was a deal breaker for me. So yeah. Okay, the other travel tip is, this pertains if you're going to be in a van or in an RV. This is definitely something that you want to pay attention to, and that is watch your rest area time limits. There can be a huge difference as you go from state to state or even in state. I'm just going to toss out the example of Tennessee. In Tennessee, we have a 2-hour time limit on staying at a rest area. 2 hours. that's really not enough time if you're going to take a nap or you need any kind of rest at all. You know, I have taken almost that time. I have gone well over an hour just using the bathroom, straightening out my van, taking a dog for a walk, getting lunch fixed. You know, it's all those things take time. Well, Tennessee only allows 2 hours. However, a couple of times at campgrounds in Tennessee, I've asked security, I'm like, look, it's night, I'm exhausted. Can I just stay here a few hours so I can get some sleep? And on one of the times, the security officer was like, yeah, fine, no problem, didn't care, not an issue at all. The second time was like, you have a 2-hour time limit. We allow 2 hours. That is the time that you will have. Which vehicle are you in? So even in the same state, okay, you can run into, you know, a difference in the time period. And I realized that I was asking for basically a favor and a time extension. But the one security officer was like, no big deal. And neither time was I there at a time when the rest area was anywhere near full, okay? But it's something to pay attention to. You can look it up online before you leave. Do some research on the states that you know you're going to be traveling in. There are apps that you can use. There are websites you can use. You can go to the Department of Transportation on the websites for the states that you're traveling to and find out what the length of time is. Because if you're in there and it's 2 hours, you may get stuck with 2 hours. You don't want that to happen. Now, the reason this applies especially to vans and travel trailers is we tend to use rest areas, Walmarts, Sam Clubs, travel stops, truck stops, travel centers to sleep overnight. So you really got to watch that if you're in a van or pulling a trailer. So otherwise, you know, plan on getting a hotel or a campground or less as they go. Pilot is also bringing out some RV spots slowly, and you have to have a good Sam's membership, I was told, to reserve those spots. I don't know why. It's not my rules. But so just keep an eye on the rest area time limits so you don't exceed those, just in case you have a grumpy security guard. And the other one that I had mentioned, I think I was going to do two. I may be beyond two. I'll just do the other one. And that is, if you were planning a road trip, plan to do activities to keep all ages engaged. Don't plan totally for a 4-year-old, and don't plan totally for an 80-year-old. Try to do a mix of activities that everybody is going to enjoy. Think of things that all ages can participate in. Maybe you're going to a city and you decide to stop by a science center or a zoo, you know, or even a Bass Pro, because Bass Pro has activities and things that will keep a youngster interested in. Fish that are swimming and the aquariums and things like that. You know, youngsters are interested in those, and some of the older folks might appreciate some of the mounted animals or some of the shopping at the Bass Pro. So there you go. Okay, Laurel, Candy the Wee Service Dog, says, how much can you carry on for your service dog needs? That you have to check with the airline on, and the TSA, because it's not just a matter of how much you can carry on, it's what's allowed through the TSA. So the TSA has the limits, they've got the rules. Occasionally the rules will change, not too often though, but they do occasionally do that. So your best bet, check with the TSA ahead of time. Also, paperwork now is required for service dogs to fly, and you got to check with your airline on that. If you are using multiple airlines, check the paperwork for each airline. If you are crossing into another country, check the TSA, check the paperwork for your airlines, check with the State Department and with the websites of the country that you are going to. Make sure all of your bases are covered, okay? Hugely important. Don't want to get there and find out that, for example, you're in Canada, you have a dog, you can't say that it's a service dog, you don't have any way to back that up, and you find out that your animal's got to be in quarantine for a few days. Not the scenario that you want. So check, check, check. I know, like, if you're going to Canada, your dog food can only be from certain places. So it has to origin in the U.S. Fortunately, with Tomlin, he was on Purina, and the Purina was made in the U.S., so it was like no problem. But I was surprised to get to the border and find out that that was the case. Also, there was a limit on the amount of dog food I could take, even though this was a road trip. So for flying, definitely check it out. 9 ways to Sunday. And let's see. Lori, Women's Station Channel says, my dad had 3 different ages, so we'd have to look for some we'd pass by. It was fun. And she says something we'd pass by. Yeah. It's always nice, too, when you're at a rest area to take something that the kids can do that gets them out of the car. With us, bubbles was the big thing because there's usually grassy areas and the kids can run and play in that grassy area. And with us, we let them blow bubbles because it's not like they're chasing a ball, you know. And nobody ever got upset with bubbles floating across the parking lot, which was really nice, you know. And they might have if the kids had been chasing a ball or something. But you kind of want something to get their energy and activity level taken care of, because the more active they are in the car, the more it can frustrate the older travelers that you have that may want to take a nap. And so when the kids don't want to take a nap and the older travelers do, take it from me, been there and done that. You don't like that friction. Yeah. So yeah, Gloria, when you check that, those were for you. So, okay. So what do you all think of those? Do you have tips you want to toss in to the comment section there? Here on the live. If not, if somebody comes by later and y'all are watching this, then drop those in the comments. Because we can't get enough on the travel tips. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah. Because, you know, it's just that much more learning. Yeah. I'm clicking. I'm still trying to figure out how I can screen share to show you. And I just can't. I was going to try showing you where I had taken the quick videos of the van. I really thought you could. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay. I'm going to give up on looking for a share button. You must not be able to do it, but if I find out later that I can, I'll do it next time. But I'll go ahead and take that little van update. I'll just make it a shorts, and I'll put it up probably tomorrow. Let me put some music with it, and we'll do that. Okay? So, all right. So I think I'm going to have to go take care of Pipsy, who is in his crate. Okay, Lori with Women's Station Channel says, this information makes me want to go on a road trip, preferably overnight. Yeah, You should. Everybody should once in a while. You know, hit it up with the girlfriends. Go have an evening. Have it, you know, just have a day or two, an overnight where you can just go and relax. 2 nights are better, obviously, but 1 night is still great. Doesn't have to be expensive, although these days with the prices of everything, of course, you're going to pay a lot. But you don't have to have a super expensive, super elaborate road trip just to have fun. You know? So yeah, do that. I encourage everybody to do that. Valerie says she did a 10-hour trip with her grandsons. She made a book of things that they could do in the car. One page was to find different kinds of trucks, cars, trailers, etc. There you go. There you go. That's a neat idea to do it ahead of time and make the book. And now there's like tons of things you can download, coloring sheets and mazes and things like that. So cool. Lori at Women's Station Channel says, yes, similar to what my dad did, Valerie. Sorry. Good. I got choked up there. Yeah, those things are important because it makes the trip better for everybody, you know, because you have to, when you've got a multi-generational road trip, if you don't plan for every generation, then you got problems. So you really have to talk to everybody that's going and find out, you know, where they are, even if you're going someplace like Walt Disney World, because there are attractions for adults, there's attractions for kids. You know, the adults may not want to see the kids riding on the teacups for an hour. And the kids may not want to go to Epcot and see Carousel of Progress like the adults do. So even on a trip, if you're going to someplace like Walt Disney World or another theme park, still need to have some conversations so you can do a multi-generational trip without it being a multi-funeral trip, if you get my point there. Now, Valerie says, we try to find many different states that we can from watching license plates. We keep track of the states we see. I know that's a good idea, too. It's also, you know, that's also a good way to expose the kids to some geography. You can talk about where the states are in relation to each other and in relation to where you're going. Yeah, Women's Station Channel says, so great, Valerie. That one sounds familiar. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one. We also, when my kids were younger, we also used to get maps from the Welcome Center. You know, usually just within a few miles of when you cross into each state. If you're on a road trip, you come to a Welcome Center, and they have the road maps. So we used to let the kids each pick up a road map and show them how to use it. You know, teach them what the legend is and let them follow along on the road map as we took our trip. They still asked where we were. They still asked how long, but we could tell them, get the map out, look and see where we are. You know, we'd go through and we'd highlight the interstate that we were going to be on. So they could kind of keep up with it that way. But it taught them some map skills. And then they had a free souvenir for after the trip. Yeah, Valerie says her daughter would follow the map when they traveled. So, yeah, when she was young. Yeah. See, I think that's a good thing, too. And kids don't get exposed to maps these days. They have these things. And, you know, I like Google Maps and my GPS as much as the next person, but sometimes that little voice in the GPS box just flat lies to you, and you got to have a map. And for those times, if you've got a map and you don't know how to read it, it's no good. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing to teach your daughter to follow the map and, you know, to have that skill to fall back on. Good stuff, good stuff. So, okay, so I'm going to go check on Pipsy and my husband. They are, I think they're throwing the ball from the sounds of things. They're getting ready to. So I'm going to go check on them. But thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. Oh, and Women's Station channel. This is a very, very smart thing to do. And I'm gonna kind of double what she's saying. She is saying bring plenty of dry snacks. That makes a huge difference. Saltine crackers worked great for us growing up. They were light and didn't disturb the stomach. I will second that. Let me also add to it, going to what we talked about bringing more than you think you'll need. Bring more snacks than you think you'll need, because you're going to wind up, if you've got kids, they're going to get spilled, the bags are going to get dumped out. You're just going to wind up going through more than you plan on. And you don't want to be out somewhere with kids and them get hungry and them not have something to eat to kind of stave off that hungry. So, yeah. Oh, now Candy's also got a good suggestion here. You could have the kids do a photo scavenger hunt with their phones. Each person would win prizes depending on how many items they find. That way, they're not competing. That's a really neat idea. That's a really good idea. Yeah. And then they would have, a little photo carousel on their phone. They can take that back to their friends or post it on Facebook. And they would have their memories or their souvenirs in photos. That's a neat thing too. Really cool. Valerie says, hi, John. I don't know if you heard him, but he said hi back. Are you going to play? I think he is. I think I just heard the door. And Lori with Women's Station channel says, nice idea, Candy. I agree. That is cool. I like ideas that give kids something that they can go back and refer to as they get older. And even just right after they get home, because you forget things that you do on the trips, or at least I do. And for me, those photos, that's what jogs my memory and my notes. I drive my husband crazy because I'm always taking notes on every trip. Like, I can tell you some of the oddest places that we have stopped by going through my notes. And thank goodness for Google Drive, because I will scrawl my notes out and then put them on Google Drive. Yeah. Fortunately, we have this thing called Google Lens now. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Google Lens, but I am finding myself loving it. It's just this thing Google has. It's tied in with Google Photos, and you can post your photo, and then with Google Lens, any text that you have on that photo, you can take right off, copy and paste it, and put it in a document. I freaking love that. So if you don't want to take copious notes, you can take it off of your pictures, of different attractions as you see, and put those in a Word document, or you can scroll out your notes and take a picture of it, copy and paste that, put it in a Word document. Google Drive document, sorry. I love doing that stuff. Candy says she was a teacher for 37 years. That's amazing. I don't think I could do kids for 37 years. I really don't. Because I used to work with juvenile offenders. Honestly, I should say it really was not the kids. It was the parents. So my hat's off to you for 37 years, majorly. Laurel's also saying, I also homeschooled my 2 kids and my oldest granddaughter. So, wow. I'm a big homeschooling fan. too. We did that when my daughter was in middle school, and we did that part of her 4th grade year just because she was too sick to go to regular school. Now, she hated it, but I liked it. Part of the reason that she didn't like it, this is my younger daughter, not Stellar Piper. Part of the reason my younger daughter didn't like it is because if she didn't homeschool on Wednesday because she was sick, then we had to homeschool on Saturday when she was feeling better. So, Women's Station Channel homeschooled. There we go. See, we could have a homeschool club right here. So we got service dogs covered, we got homeschooling covered, and Valerie can teach us all how to knit as part of the group. So there we go. Yep, I agree. Not all the time, but I will say 99% of the kids that we worked with had that going on. So, or the kids got in trouble on their own and the parents didn't back up the authority figures that tried to straighten them out. But anyway, we won't go there. And Laurel, Kenny the Wee Service Dog says, in her mind, she's only 39 years. Yep. And Women's Stations Channel says, yep, homeschool club. That's awesome. Okay, well, you all, thanks for hanging out. I will get that uploaded as the shorts. You can actually see the progress on the band. And hopefully, next Saturday will be here, but hopefully the following Saturday, I will be in New Mexico. So keep praying, cross your fingers, that everything goes well. So anyway, I'll see you. Got a couple of videos coming up this week, and I'll see you Saturday at 7. And that's Eastern time as always. So thanks, y'all. Have a great night. Have a great week. Take care.